arbitrary number on that timer, and I was only off by 20 seconds. Fantastic, boys and girls. Dota 2 Galaxy Battles NA qualifiers here. Group B, VGJ.Storm taking on Wheel Wreck while whistling in the semifinals. Looking for a ticket into that coveted grand final. Even if you win that grand final, though, you got to go on into a single elim BO3 Stage 2 finals alongside Optic Gaming, Complexity, and the recently, well, in the finals, maybe Team Leviathan. We'll see if they are able to win that finals in Stage 1. Either way, VGJ.Storm, speaking of grand finals, just dropped one today in Midas mode to Optic and put on a really good show. Took it all the way to 5 games, unfortunately, in about 35 minutes of that game 5. They did fall to Optic side. Some really impressive, some really promising stuff from VGJ.Storm lately, though. As I will bring my game sounds back, had them off. Well, we had that little preview window in the wait screen. Hope you guys have been enjoying the day so far. Happy Saturday to you. As VGJ.Storm do get their very highly regarded IO here. This is one of Stan King's, alongside Oracle, most played heroes, and is one he's very comfortable with. Omni Knight Razor pick coming out early. We saw a Razor pick in Game 2 of the previous series for Leviathan, and that did not work out very well, picking up a core this early on. With the Omni Knight to kind of enable the Razor, perhaps the potential for counter pick is a little bit less scary of a proposition to draft into for Wheel, but Stan King going to answer with his second support, so not revealing anything as far as his cores go, and it will be the Earth Spirit for Flea. And what IO is to Stan King, Earth Spirit is to Francis Lee. He is absolutely stellar on the hero. Bane going to be the ban from VGJ.Storm. Just banning out good supports, it seems, at this point. Night Stalker, Shadow Shaman, Venge, and Bane. One of which of those heroes can be core. Batrider and Puck going to be removed by Wheel Wreck. And anytime you have Relocate, both Batrider and Puck are excellent heroes to be able to open the engagements, split push relatively freely, and find information for this IO +1 combo, as well as beginning the fight such that the Relocate can follow up. Certainly wise bans from Wheel Wreck. They're also both great against Razor. Batrider lanes really well against Razor. Puck can jaunt away from the static link as well, so it doesn't necessarily provide the kill potential that a Batrider might, but definitely makes, or mitigates kind of what Razor wants to do, and to some extent that is just dominate the lanes, especially with an Omni Knight Disruptor behind him. Of course, this Omni Knight could be in an off-lane role, but even then, Disruptor Razor, pretty strong laning duo in their own right. Disruptor, of course, pretty much a direct counter to the IO, and a natural one at it. He has the Static Storm for any heroes in close proximity. He's also got the Glimpse. You relocate to one side of the map to bring you back to another. So a very effective counter in general. Wyvern going to be the ban from VGJ. Almost feels to me as if they maybe want to open up for something like a Sven or an Ursa alongside this IO, although neither of those are great into static link. They do provide enough physical burst to be able to bring the Razor low or kill him before he gets any sort of major damage sapped. And Wyvern is just great against physical burst. So that's kind of where I was going with that. It does seem that they do anticipate a core Omni to some extent, banning out the Wyvern. Also, Winter's Curse, of course, very good against IO. So, very reasonable ban from Stan King. Actually, Snake King, the one with the crown on in this draft, interestingly enough. the VGJ offlaner in the drafting seat. Not sure how long that's been the case, but either way, they will pick up the Doom. So it does appear that VGJ.Storm are missing Yawar, unless that's just Yawar, and I don't know. It's possible. I remember him having some sort of weeb name recently. I'm not sure why he'd be tagged as a stand-in, though. It is Yawar. Okay. What do I know? Alright, so they're fine. Full lineup. Thank you, Dota Buff. And the Tusk pickup for Wheel is an interesting one. This is something we saw banned all 3 games versus Leviathan. Actually, it was versus Immortals, excuse me. So something banned by Leviathan. Something that's perhaps catching on a little in this NA scene. And definitely guarantees at this point the core Omni Knight. Unless we see core Tusk, which I just don't believe is a thing. However, against IO, Walrus Punch could be really nice. IO, of course, 0 base armor, so Walrus Punch can do a world of hurt. Alright, CK gonna be the hero. This is something that I know Stan King loves, and it appears Snake King will agree in this one. Not only is it kind of your typical IO partner, but just very, very strong if he comes out with a good lane, and he offers a lot in lane. Having all of the control that a CK has. You know, his one weakness kind of would be farming, but he just kills heroes. And you know, they do have the Guardian's Angel on Wheel's side, but aside from that, not great in the way of saves. So if they can initiate the fights on the Omni or just doom the Omni, there's very little they can do to kind of lock down this Yawar CK. And IO plus Doom is certainly a tandem of heroes that can run at you early. However, I doubt they'll be leaving the Omni Knight 1v1 bottom lane, so look for maybe a more standard laning configuration for VGJ. Omni Knight is a bitch for any melee hero to lane 1v1 against. Can't trade with him because of Degen Aura and Purification, so he can just kind of walk at you, and he doesn't take all that much as far as punishment from the creeps when he aggresses on you, again because of that attack slow provided by Degen Aura. So good hero in those 1v1 scenarios at the very least. But they've got a solution in the Doom a little bit later into the game. Snowball save, very unreliable, so really high skill threshold ability. Hope you guys have gotten your physical activity in for the day. Lol. But seriously, we should try as gamers. We should try, guys, to be a little more active. With our days, Tinkerban is going to come out from Wheel. Take that away from 747. AKA Ryoya. And Medusa Band, the final one from Wheelwreck. Really nice kind of solution to both IO plus 1 as well as just CK in general. And it is going to be the 747 Storm Spirit. Kind of identifying a lack of lockdown, you know, in Wheel's side. Also just much similar to the Puck and the Bat Rider is that hero that's going to be able to initiate for the IO plus CK in this case. So I really do like the Storm Spirit pick here. You know, there is a static Storm. And no doubt that can be worrisome for a Storm Spirit. But he's hard to pin down, and don't want to just blow that static Storm on a solo Storm Spirit who potentially could ball through it if he's kind of already in that form. So it's going to be a mid or safe laner, more than likely, for Wheel. Razor, pretty good 1v1 against Storm in lane. But we'll see which way they go. They do end up picking up the MK here, so he can kind of go to both places, and it depends, I suppose, which hero picks him up. But certainly Monkey King can lane against 747's Storm Spirit in the mid lane, although definitely more vulnerable to the Earth Spirit roll-in. So expect a Razor mid. I think that'll be the case. YJS is the one to pick it up here. And the Monkey King 5th pick for Wheelwex. So Wheel definitely looking at kind of a high-tempo game. They've got, these two cores that absolutely want to be in your face with Static Link and Jingu Mastery. With the Razor and the Monkey King and Omni Knight, going to have a lot of levels early on, presumably, to kind of facilitate that aggression. And they've got Tusk and Disruptor, two great chasing heroes in their own right. Disruptor, one of the best with Glimpse, and Tusk with the Snowball and the Ice Shards, and wanting to be able to chase down heroes. So a lot of this is going to depend on the lanes. It definitely does feel like with a good start, there is a certain chance here for Wheel to snowball in this one. However, Flea can, if he can do enough to make the lanes even, roughly even for VGJ.Storm, it seems like there's not too many solutions to this CK. We could see maybe the Battle Fury build from QM on the Monkey King, and maybe that's somewhat of the thought process of the Monkey King pick, is that with the Wukong's command, you can deal with Phantasm. I haven't really seen that interaction all that much, but Stan King, I mean, maybe the major thing to mention for their side is that they get big time comfort picks in the Io and Earth Spirit on their support duo. 747 kind of feels like he can play anything, and certainly Yawar and Snake King rather comfortable on CK and Doom. And I can't say that, the reverse is true for Wheel, who have a very interesting icon for their team. But I can't say that I'm certainly no stranger to these picks from VGJ.Storm. Perhaps another thing to mention kind of outside of Dota is that they've already played a full best of 5, all 5 games today for VGJ.Storm. So that did finish around 6 p.m. EST, so that was about 2 hours ago. So they should have had a little bit of time to take a dump, have a bite to eat, maybe do some jumping jacks. So they should be kind of refreshed mentally, I would think. But certainly playing, potentially 8 games of Dota a day is a tiring proposition. So we'll see if they're affected by fatigue here at all. La-di-da-di, we like to party. Hopefully we get into this one relatively soon, guys. Hope you got some good Black Friday deals as well. I didn't really get much. I was looking for a new monitor, nice 144 hertz, but didn't see anything glaringly attractive. Of course, I live in Canada, where Black Friday is a joke. Here in America, there were some good deals. And a happy belated Thanksgiving to all of those of you in America. Speaking of which, NA Dota about to get underway here. Second best of 3 of the night. MRP here, BTS. Galaxy Battles 2. North America qualifiers. As Francis Lee going to roll on down to the bottom lane. He's got a ward on his person. The typical Orb of Venom as well. Part of his loadout. And Tether move speed from Stan King will allow him to get the ward up on the high ground here. It seems that that'll be the intention. And he'll hang around looking for perhaps an initiation. A level 1, remember this nerf a while back, very, very small, slow duration on that rolling boulder. So he would need quite a few more heroes to facilitate, any sort of first blood attempt here. But Yawar, he's playing relatively safe up on the top side of the map. And extra tree behind the tier 1 here, bottom lane. Trees have 200 move speed, what do you know? Not the best to be blocking creeps with. Gotta get in that courier form. But Derp will serve that purpose for now, and it looks like it's just going to be the typical 2-for-2 trade. But Nox, the Omni Knight, gets both of the bounty runes for his squad. Flea in towards the mid lane, going to be joined by Stan King here, and if there's any time to kill a Razor, level 1 seems like a great time to attempt. However, Storm Spirit doesn't commit all that much. It's not like a Spirit Siphon or Shadow Strike from a Queen of Pain, so we'll see if they are able to kind of get anything done here. As Yawar top lane, we'll see how much he's hampered by this early kind of absence of his supports. He's going to get traded on, and in mid lane, Flea going to show, and the roll is going to whiff, it seems. TP in towards the top lane from Stanking, and now Wheel well aware of the attempt that was made on VGJ.S life and failed. And it feels like this top lane must be where all the action is going to happen in this early game, as rotations coming through from Flea. Purification is available. They get the rolling boulder, though, out on top of the Chaos Bolt into Moose. And with the tether slow, just for that hesitation on the Tusk, Yawar able to survive and now going to be healed up with his salve. So, First Blood going to go the way of VGJ.Storm. Doesn't look like fatigue affecting them all that much thus far. As top lane, they do go in onto the Omni Knight with the Reality Rift minus armor. They're doing a lot. Boulder smashes there. Stan King picks up the kill. Now Ryoya, though, in trouble mid lane. And Fairy Fire, it's enough. It keeps him alive, as only level 1 on Moose can't pursue forward with the Snowball, but it does force 747 back to base here at level 2, so certainly not ideal for that Storm Spirit. However, the top lane going very well for VGJ.Storm. Snaking. He's got 2 CS, so not bad. More importantly, perhaps level 2.5 here. So has been able to stand in lane for a bit up against the Monkey King plus Disruptor, which is respectable to say the least. (747) 6 and 2 to the 10 and 5 of VGJ.S in the mid lane. And meanwhile, Snaking. Talked about him standing in lane. Perhaps I cursed him a bit. As no Scorched Earth skilled up just yet. A little bit of the greedy setup here from Snaking. And he does end up going down. Not sure that the level 1 Scorched Earth helps him survive there. Meanwhile, top lane. A third kill already for this VGJ.Storm safe lane. We talked about how much CK offers in lane. And surely that offering seeming to bear fruit here for VGJ.Storm. We get some down some cliff vision by the Dire Radiant Tier 1, excuse me. Should help to continue. To 1, allow Yawar to farm safely, and 2, facilitate some more aggression against the Omni Knight, as well as that Tusk if he makes his way up. Rolling Boulder goes out mid, and Flea guesses incorrectly. VGJ.S now going to try and static link up the Stan King Wisp. And gets a decent amount from him, 60 damage. Snaking, dragging around this Radiant creep wave, finds himself another one. And that is a boat ton of experience. If he can only get it back to his tower, he should be elated.
Double damage.
And he'll actually try to pull it over to the creeps. And now jumping forward for Derp. Glimpse back onto the Earth Spirit. Stan King. I don't know that you've got enough there, buddy, but very ballsy Wisp, no pun intended. And then meanwhile, 747 able to repel the attempt on his life mid lane as he walks under tower. And Yawar been doing very well. Considering the early start he had, can kind of trade up in lane with this Omni Knight. So CS-wise, he's atop the board. Now roll through. Bottom lane is going to connect from Flea. And with the Infernal Blade, OM could be in trouble. Boulder smashes there. Tether through from Stan King. They will secure the kill on the Monkey. And VGJ looking strong in this early game. 747 going to get a ton of damage sapped here, but with the overload damage, sticks around for that last hit. Now smoke up from the Earth Spirit and the IO as they'll make their way across the map once again. And really nicely anticipating the movements here. You are hanging around top lane, and they will roll through. Purification should kill him off here. He tries to reality rift away to dodge it. Admirable attempt, but ends up dropping. He was, you know, effectively baiting for his squad, but they were just moments too late, and Snowball from the fog able to net the kill there. Now in trouble though is the Omni Knight as Tether over to the CK, try and give him a little bit of move speed. They have a roll. Chaos Bolt will go out onto the west side and try and find the Tusk here, and they will with one more right click. Hanging on to, or having another Chaos Bolt available in just a second. Nice boulder smash back from Flea, and Chaos Bolt will be there. They'll take the Bounty Rune as well. No Repel skilled up just yet, but Degen Aura is just a thing. It's a thing, boys and girls. Tether up onto the CK, has another Chaos Bolt, and with the Reality Rift and the grip, Geomagnetic grip that is, they will be able to get down the Omni Knight. Definitely didn't get him off. One thing that doesn't get me off, it's being killed. Doom available for snaking. Instant TP in bot lane from the IO. There are 3 heroes nearby, though. This is going to be a difficult kill. Snaking actually gets glimpsed back, and that may have benefited VGJ.Storm. Not sure. He probably kills off the Monkey King here if he stays. So let's say it was a beneficial glimpse for the Radiant side. Still, though, now Snake King, level 6 here, is just able to pressure with Stan King at his side. And they will force the Shrine usage out as Stan King rotating over to witness it. At least they, you know, don't get the value of bringing the Tusk to that Shrine as well. Just by showing face near that Shrine for the Monkey King. Hopefully getting a little bit of space mid lane. 1-0-4 involved in 5 of the 6 kills for his squad thus far. Snaking in a turn, has the IO. And with the Shockwave, moves really low. Now rotating in is Yawar here, 7 minutes in. With the Jingu Mastery, they do end up killing off the Wisp. 4 seconds until Reality Rift is available. And with the Shockwave, Snake King does find the kill onto QM. It looks like he'll sacrifice himself as the Razors rotated in. The Tusk even kind of taunting him on the backside of that. Flea nearby. Has a ward and does see Derp, but does not see the Tusk just yet. Moves, though, on the south side. And now Flea going to run into him. Has a snowball available. Boulder smash, nicely played by Flea. Talked about how comfortable he is on this hero. Gets the Orb of Venom off onto the Razor. Stan King going to split with him, and now he'll get the Rolling Boulder off as well. Beautifully played. Means the Static Link won't be there. Fairy Fire is there from the Razor, but Flea uses the Magic Stick, gets the grip off, and now killing him. What a lovely play by Flea. Snowball through to 2, but Overcharge is going to be there, and now a rotation from 747. Gonna punish Wheel, and VGJ.Storm firing on all cylinders. Snake King could be in trouble top lane, and he will be. Scorched Earth is gonna be there, but the Degen Aura slowing him. Does he have enough to make it away? He in fact does. And 11 stick charges as well, so kind of baiting it in with Snake King there top lane. Meanwhile, his CK for you're working on this tower bottom. Snake King 5 seconds until Doom. Has the phase boots as well. More than, you know, healthy enough to fight here as TPs come inbound top lane. There is a repel, but you know, they need to soul ring in order to use it. And now roll forward. Doom onto the Omni Knight. They don't even need the roll to connect. Boulder Smash comes through. Boundless Strike will be there. Shockwave, though, gonna answer that, and they'll kill off the Omni with ease. QM maybe looking for a denial attempt there, but they will ensure that is not a successful one. And rotations from VGJ.Storm have just been one step ahead of their counterparts here. You know, we do see that Nox Omni Knight drop. He was highest value target in the game to go down. And Yeah, CK has been relatively active early on. You know, if we look at the CS, he's down, 13 or so on the Razor, but top of the net worth still for the CK. Snaking. Gonna find himself the Scorched Earth and Infernal Blade onto Derp. Derp needs another right click. Purification will be there to save him, though. And now the Omni Knight rotating through with the Razor. Snowball should be just short. It is not. Derp. And Snaking can end up falling. Sure. I should have listened to the emote by Omni Knight. Fail. Oh well. In the meantime, tier 1 taken out. So Snaking lost and the tier 1 taken for Wheel. Trying to come back into this one. Yawar, though, kind of uncontested in this bottom lane, will take out the Radiant tier 1. Actually, TP inbound now from the Disruptor. Boundless Strike will be there, but the long TP on Derp means he can't drop his spells. Now Omni Knight rotating through, and with a Mango, he can kind of Reality Rift away, but pretty much dead here is the CK. And now zipping into a Static Storm is 747. He ends up chain feeding, essentially. And some well-plays coming out from Wheel's side as they get a big kill on the Storm Spirit. The CK was a big one, but to get the second off the back of that, major damage. And as you can see, 1,200 gold and 1,200 experience, roughly, where, the lead is less than 1k for VGJ. So those are big numbers to find at this juncture in the game. Rotating over to mid. No Phantasm available here for the CK, but successful defense of the tower for now. And a very even early game overall. Net worth 500 lead for VGJ's side. Experience 1,000 lead for the Radiant side. Boulder Smash going to connect through 3. The silence is there too from Flea. And the relocate forward finds QM. Now Snaking, pressing, has a Doom. Nice pair of shards, though. Or set of shards, I should say. Is going to deter the aggression from VGJ.Storm. So they expend the relocate, and they do get the kill on the Monkey King. Still, no Phantasm used and no Doom used. So definitely in fighting shape is this dire lineup. And now Moose, thinking about walking towards the stairs, is going to think better of it. Snaking, set of drums on the way for him. And a smoke coming out from at least the Tusk for the Radiant lineup. With the Tranquils, he's perhaps just on a warding mission here. Does have his Disruptor nearby as well, who's also smoked up. That is Derp. Looking for 747 Storm Spirit. He's pretty healthy, though, especially being near that shrine. And does have the Kaya up now for 747. So both teams kind of looking for their item timings at this point. Going to be right into the Lincolns, it seems, for 747. Definitely a very good item this game, up against the Walrus Punch and the Static Link. Static Link generally not casted on the Storm Spirit, I suppose, but kind of similar in nature to the Blood Zone as far as regen goes. And gives you a little bit of extra stats as well. Top lane tier 2 being pressured pretty heavily by Wheel and not really set up to defend his VGJ. They'll look to trade the mid tier 1. Snaking going to look to put some pressure into the bottom tier 2, but with a 1,000-year base attack time. Doom not the quickest pusher. Now TP down south. Actually, a couple of TPs coming through. Pretty much the entire lineup, in fact. And now zip forward. They're going to get the silence off onto the Disruptor. 2-man stun and the Doom onto the Omni Knight. Static Storm connects onto 3, though the Wukong's command is there as well. Walrus Punch, Magnetize flying out, but they will get the kill. That is going to be on Stan King's IO. Now zipping out is the 747 Storm Spirit over towards the Shrine. Snake King towards the north, and Stan King buying back on the IO. He's going to relocate in towards mid lane. Maybe they look to turn this here. Tether move speed is there. And Flea kind of behind enemy lines, as well as 747. Stan King, he knows he's going back to base, so kind of just baiting out a spell there mid lane. And Snake King healed up because of it. Top lane pushing in. Stan King will deal with that on the IO. Looks like this mid lane tower may kind of be forfeit, as Snowball is going to find Flea in the back lines. He's going to try for a TP out, and he will just be bursted before he's capable of doing so. Mid lane, some sort of defense mounted. 747 bottom lane, putting some pressure into the tier 2. Derp doesn't have a Static Storm, but 747 unaware of who else is present in this bottom lane. Snake King dragging the wave away from the tower. Though with a siege creep, they will end up taking this. Minute rune goes away the Storm Spirit, but so does a Static Storm, Plasma Field, all the lightning you could want going the way of that Storm Spirit, and he's killed by his own magic effectively as Razor and Disruptor team up to take him out. Really unlucky is Yawar in the mid lane as he'll pop the Phantasm, doesn't get the extra illusion. Stan King TP's out in the top lane, and perhaps baiting his Phantasm illusion in the mid is Yawar. But Onox won't be fooled, as it really wasn't moving around all that much just a moment ago. 10 seconds left on that Phantasm illusion, and meanwhile bot lane relocate going to come in from Yawar. They get the Doom off onto the Tusk, and Stan King is there as well, joining up with Flea and Stay King in the bottom lane. What a guy. Just making the plays for his side. Stan King's Wisp. Something we talked about, you know, the first phases of the draft here. Well, just going to shrine up, and certainly the Razor is where he wants to be at this point in the game. Working on an SNY, and he's got his Omni Knight behind him. Onox has a Vanguard on the Omni. Against the CK, Crimson Guard certainly one of the possible routes as far as item progression goes. Okay, a couple of overlapping wards here. Actually, this one down in 40 seconds, so not terrible, but... Meanwhile, top lane, 747 in trouble. Glimpse back into the Static Storm, and he's going to be dropped once again. And just desperately trying to farm his way into this game. A couple of times now, 747's been taken down. Meanwhile, though, mid lane, a Monkey King in trouble. He's going to be silenced up. They get there, though, with the Repel and the Purification. Now the Snowball flying through the shards. Walrus Punch into the air for Stan King. He's going to be able to tether over to the east, however, where Yawar resides. Earn himself up. And, yeah, Monkey King getting a good chuckle out of that one as effectively baiting. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Snake King trying to take down the tier 2. We'll just TP out in the face of VGJ.S, but still unable to net this tier 2 that VGJ.Storm have been working on for some time now. Battle Fury is the build from QM, so talked about that earlier. Just up against the CK could be really nice. As the triumvirate of heroes from VGJ.Storm gonna smoke up with a Doom. Ready in 20. And now uphill, they are going to find the MK, but there's a lot behind him. Purification, Repel flies out. The Plasma Field is there as well with the Eye of the Storm. They get the relocate in, though, and, oh, Guardian's Angel going to keep up the Monkey King momentarily. Still, though, in trouble are a lot of these heroes from the Radiant side. Snake King gets low. 747 still going to work. He's forced to zip out. Now Flea in trouble as the Eye of the Storm and one last right click finishing him off. Ends up being a 3 for 2 in the favor of Wheel. And just into a trap. Could be a 4 for 2 now, and it is. And 3 heroes just kind of walk themselves, you know, into a staircase here. And despite getting the Monkey King off once again, Nox in the right place at the right time to save his Monkey King in a big team fight win for VGJ.Storm side, or for Wheel side, excuse me. It didn't even have the Doom there, so, you know, it was coming off of cooldown, but an interesting movement from VGJ.Storm. And, you know, working on the Shadow Blade, but not quite there was Snake King. So just an interesting decision to fight there. I'll end up using the Phantasm regardless. You know, you assume after dying, Snake King probably had like 850 gold before then. So pretty close to the or the Claymore, excuse me, and ultimately that Shadow Blade. But fortunately ends up dropping beforehand. Now bottom lane, zipping forward, is the 747 Storm Spirit. And a Repel TP from the Omni Knight will secure him. Things looking good as far as the metrics go for the Radiant side. VGJ.Storm still trying to make some aggressive plays though. And up against the Doom, working on a Lincoln Sphere, is QM's Monkey King, as he'll begin to push into top lane. And why not? Pop the drums, put a little punishment in. You've got a ward here for the Radiant side, so got decent vision if you take a look at it right now. And, you know, they're going to at least force VGJ.Storm to back. They're actually going to whiff on the Boulder Smash here. Stan King going to join the fray. Glyph was popped actually by the Radiant there. Nicely done to keep up that melee creep, and they're able to get to tier 3 in the meantime. Now gone on is the Monkey King. He'll be repelled up though. Boulder Smash will not connect, and we'll begin to work on this melee X. However, they did get the tier 3, so should be pretty happy with this if they just want to back out. They are going to pop the Wukong's command though, and YJS and QM going to get to work here. See if this gives them enough time. Now Phantasm is going to be popped. They look to go in, roll forward onto QM, but immediately blown up is Flea. Eye of the Storm makes quick work of him there. And with the repel on the Monkey King, they'll get the melee racks. Not even caring much for this range racks until Snake King walks through their almost entire lineup. He gets mech'd up though and relocated back and will survive. Still though, it buys them enough time to take the range racks because of it. And Stan King forced to use his relocate as well. He's going to return to this position here, but is able to tether back. QM thinking about the balanced strike. Doesn't get it off, though. 20 minutes in, however, Wheel, they take the first lane of racks in this game before tier 2s and even a tier 1 in the remaining dire lanes are taken. So a big boost for them as far as gold goes, as far as, you know, morale in this one. You know, a very even game if you look at the metrics throughout. Never really got over 2,000 net worth lead. Is now, you know, almost 4K. And mid lane Snaking gets caught with the shards and the boundless strike, but no detection there. Now 3-man silence comes through with this Boulder Smash from Flea, but they get the repel off onto YJS. They will have the Doom onto the Disruptor, but he's already static stormed up. Snake King, who's in trouble now. YJS kind of leaves him alone, and Snake King actually going to be able to run away while 747 takes out 2 heroes, and YJS on the Razor just kind of abandoned his teammates here as they lose 2 in the mid lane. Not sure who he was chasing. Was it Stan King's Wisp or not? But he's able to make it away. Snake King also able to make it away. And just after begun to praise Wheel for the position they were taking in this game, they take a dicey engagement mid lane. Snake King going to find himself a YJS. Maybe YJS goes to TP out and gets it canceled here. But he is hanging around top lane. And now 747 TPing in. And yep, he will have it canceled. Zip forward from 747. They'll find YJS. VGJ.Storm queuing a bit of a comeback here. They lose Stan King in the mid lane. And can't really say what happened there. But the more important kill is that Razor dropping top. As you are going to pick up a DD. has the Blink Dagger on top of the Armlet Echo Saber here, so certainly fight ready. QM bought out the recipe, seems like, and working on that ultimate orb to complete up his Lincoln Sphere.
Over here now.
Derp inbound, 747 in trouble, Boundless Strike, they get the Static Storm off, and they'll be able to kill him here. Walrus punches there, nicely played from the tree line from QM with the Boundless Strike. Don't really know what the plan was from 747 and Yawar. Thought they might just show the CK in lane and try to bait him, but they both end up showing in lane, and 747 the one focused. However, there is a relocate available. Stand King top lane, and with Snake King under the cover of Shadowblade, they find the silence onto the Disruptor. Doom will find the Omni Knight, and there's no Static Storm in this fight, so they go zip for it, find the Razor. YJS will be the first to drop. Now zipping for the Omni Knight, who gets the Shrine off, but should be left for dead as well. Going to be Boulder Smash off. Reality Rift will bring in Derp. And a zip to the other side of the globe for 747 will find him a Tusk. Blink forward, double kill for Yawar. 4 heroes drop on the bottom side of the map. And what perfect spell usage in the beginning of that fight. Silence from Flea onto the Disruptor, who didn't have his Static Storm. Gets glimmered up, and an immediate Doom from Snake King onto the Omni Knight. And that is exactly, you know, that solution we talked about in the draft from this first pick Omni Knight. Is that Doom on Snake King. Now roll forward top lane. They get the silence off onto the Monkey King, and that is a big kill. And you can see here, even with all the farm this MK has, 3rd overall net worth, very squishy with the Battle Fury Perseverance at this point. 1400 HP, and conveniently, Snake King and 747 will work the tower after they find that kill. No backdoor protection, of course, it being a tier 1. And all of a sudden, VGJ.Storm, you know, we talked about an even game, dragging this right back down in their favor. As far as the metrics go, momentum certainly on their side, and experience well in their favor. Take a look at the levels overall, and 747 after a couple of early deaths. Level 19 now on the Storm Spirit. Did end up going for the Bloodstone over the Lincolns early. He did have that queued up at one point, but it certainly makes sense here. Really just the Walrus Punch to worry about, and it's not what's been killing him. What's been killing him really is the Static Storm. Sure, the Walrus Punch kind of follows at the end of the duration, but Snake King mid lane. Shadowblade going to expire here, and he could be the target, but has a Scorched Earth and a Shadowblade, so perhaps slightly serving as bait here. Meanwhile, working on an Ancient stack was Yawar, and feeling perhaps slightly threatened will blink out, but fix up his Reaver now. 3k HP without Armlet on for this CK. He is going to get immensely difficult to bring down.
Regeneration. The time.
Blink from Flea, we've seen how well he's positioned his Boulder Smashes and grips at this point. Yoya bot lane is a big kill if they can find it. But his Static Remnant, well, man, he didn't see Derp under the Glimmer Cape, but gets a brief glimpse of him there, and okay, 2 sentries. Alright, this is some heavy committal. Meanwhile, shoving the other lanes are most of VGJ.Storm's heroes. Glyph available for the dire side for this bottom tower. Use it! Use it! Alright, nicely done. NA Dota. Lincoln Sphere going to be picked up by the Monkey King. But in the meantime, VGJ.Storm just trading kind of their offlane towers for perhaps a much more important objective in this Roche. And already mentioned how high level this Storm Spirit is. With an Aegis, he is going to be an absolute nuisance in these team fights if I could only click on him. And he will be the one to pick up the Aegis. So going straight for that BKB, and so understandable up against the Static Storm. Really does feel like the only thing that's killed him. And really the only reason that these fights have even gone well. So now, you know, having an Aegis on the Storm, they can afford to lose him once. And you see how clumped up Wheel is playing now. It's just kind of the effects of losing a couple of those team fights and knowing the composition of their lineup as far as scaling goes. It does feel like they are playing rather scared. Sentry is going to spot Snake King briefly. And Kinetic Field going to go out bottom lane. Snake King gets off the Infernal Blade, but gets his BKB off in the meantime. Storm working on Razor on the north side, and Snake King still proving rather tanky. He is going to be able to make it over to the Wisp where he gets mech'd up. Yawar is a little bit off by his lonesome on the CK, but no one has gone on him just yet. Now a zip forward from 747. Static Storm is going to be essentially wasted on the CK. Big Snowball will get a couple of targets there, but the Doom is onto the Omni Knight as they want it to be. He is going to be denied. However, Derp, QM, Moose, all going to be taken out on the low ground. And the last standing survivor is the Razor, who killed off his own Omni. And 3 of these heroes dead, none of which have buyback. Monkey King the only one, the 4th hero that is. And now YGJ.S in trouble, and he doesn't have buyback and is just going to be bursted to his death. Yawar going to get to work on the tower. Flea going to TP back and, you know, ensure that after a 22-minute Raxing, his top lane is safe. And VGJ going to answer with a Rax of their own minimum here, as Razor on the sidelines for 50 seconds. 747 zipping forward, just kind of an intimidation blow. And with the heart regen, CK ready to fight again, although he doesn't have Phantasm. Snake King as well doesn't have the Doom, but they will at least take the tier 3 from this bottom lane. And I think wisely so. Gonna look to back out now. Sand King and Flea not present, although they could be in a flash. And a big comeback here from VGJ.Storm thus far. Now in excess of 10k net worth lead generated by them. Almost to the tone of 15k in the way of experience. BKB picked up from 747. Still has the Aegis here for another couple minutes. But once he gets that BKB delivered, can pretty much do anything he wants in this one. It feels. Very tanky tri-core now with the BKB on the Doom, Heart on the CK, and BKB on the Storm Spirit, or VGJ.Storm side. And again, they still have the Aegis for the next little bit. Trying to roll up to the cliff was Flea. He does have a gem, so just trying to do a little bit of de-warding. Snake King, Shadow Bladed up, jump forward, Walrus Punch is going to be there. Zip to the backlines with the BKB activated. Static Storm doesn't do anything as Phantasm already was popped off, and now they're looking to go into YGJ.S's Razor. Doom onto the Omni Knight. Sapping a lot of damage, though, is the Razor. And it looks like Yawar was forced away in the meantime by the Monkey King. YGJ.S in trouble. 747 does lose the Aegis, but they bring down the Razor. Triple kill for the CK. And now the last member of Wheel is going to be taken out here, as VGJ outlasting Wheel, who had a 22-minute lane of Rax advantage. But just kind of the nature of the lineup, a couple of pickoffs on the Monkey King, who was rather squishy, and 747 finally able to get a good footing in this game on his Storm Spirit. After 3 early deaths, I mean, he still ends up with a negative KDA overall, but did seem to do a lot of work after the initial stages. And 14, 4, and 13 on Yawar's CK. Snake King doing a lot of work, and as well as Flea on the Earth Spirit. Just kind of put it all together, you know, despite being down early for VGJ.Storm side. And 6th game of Dota of the day, Pro Dota that is for them. Still showing resilience here. They'll take a 1-0 lead, guys, in this best of 3. Winner moves on to the finals of this first stage of NA qualifiers, and the winner of that is going to move on to face Complexity in stage 2. Stay tuned, guys. Galaxy Battles going to continue here on Beyond the Summit. MRP going to be back shortly with Game 2.